You know what's happening right now? I'm pretty sure a vehicle pulled up a little bit down the road off of the pull off to go to the cabins. And there's some people standing out there waiting to come in here and rape me. Yep. And when I went outside, she crawled out over to the landing over there and shot shit down in my face. I think there's some desperate rapists out there. It's amazing. It's like they think my vagina is made of gold. They get a little piece of my power. Because the bottom line is, as crazy as they are and as psychopathic as they are, look at all that gas. See that movement? That's gas. I'm telling you that right now. None of them could handle what they've put me through. None of them. Not one of them. Not one cartel guy, not one any of them. That could handle what I've gone through for 12 years. Not one of them. And most certainly not the last 2 years. And crack whore, the crazy bitch that's gassing the shit out of my animals and killing them right now, she couldn't handle this. Not 2 seconds of this. She would flip out. She would lose her shit. You know? Yep. That's the bottom line of it. So, there you go. I don't feel good. It's a little precarious right now. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning. And I know waiting to daytime does not prevent her from coming in here. Because Jan is her friend. And I'm guessing that the couple, the mom and the daughter, are probably people that they know. Because they're not going to do things like this here without everybody being in the know. And, yeah. So, the Federal Bureau of Investigations of the United States of America know this is happening to me, and they're not doing shit to stop it. And I have emailed that guy Kenji, the federal prosecutor's office, over and over and over again, detailing what I'm going through, and the one that's was prosecuting Michael Miskey and the Kealohas, and I'm curious to know when Biden replaces him, which apparently that's going to happen, and apparently that's a normal thing to happen, but still, when that happens, if those prosecutions are still going to go in the same direction that they were. And I'm curious to know that, because then if Biden puts someone in that position that decides not to pursue that, or gives them way more of a leniency or a deal, then holy shit, that'll be an even bigger mark against the Democrats and their affiliation with organized crime. Because there's just not that many guys like Kenji that are going to go after these kind of people. They're just not. You know, prosecutors get threatened too. You know, I mean, to go after drug traffickers and fucking people that have affiliations with the cartel, you got to be brave. You got to have some courage. You've got to have some cojones. You've got to have some willingness to put your life on the line, because that is what that is. Because their whole thing is get everybody in their pocket, and I'm sure they have a shit ton of people in their pocket. They had the chief of police. They had city prosecutor. You know, they had it all buttoned up in Hawaii, and they're gonna fight to not lose that. And the feds, you know, they really should fight them, because with it being, you know, a strategic point for the United States and all that stuff, you really don't want it to become what it's gonna become if they give it up and they keep letting things go the way that they are. It's become a very dangerous place to live, because it's too small to handle the amount of criminality that's there now. And at some point, the cartel will usurp the Hawaiians. And, you know, the United States government will just, I mean, for them, I think the benefit is that they've got a ton of people stationed there, and it's good to be able to keep the morale and all the people stationed there feeling like they can go out and go snorkeling and go surfing and hiking and you know, all the great things that Hawaii has to offer. You know, why people like being stationed there. And they'll lose a lot of that, you know, and they won't be able to control, you know, the cartel will probably, I mean, who knows, maybe the feds like having the cartel on their side instead of the Hawaiians, Because the Hawaiians have a faction of them that really, really, really despise the United States government and would literally line up every soldier they'd find on the streets and just execute them if they could. You know, they would. I think that unlike the Native Americans who have acquiesced and have no longer really a desire to go to war with the United States, the Hawaiians don't feel that way. Not entirely. The ones on top do because they're making billions of dollars. And they know that if the Hawaiians were in charge, they wouldn't be making billions of dollars. So that movement's never going to go anywhere, period. But there's Hawaiians that will not acquiesce to that, you know? So Hawaii's in for a shitstorm. That would be my prediction. And it's going to become a weird place to live. I'm super glad I sold my house on that level and angle because, like, I mean, you take Manoa Valley, that used to be a really nice place to live, and you know, just one of the more desirable places, not necessarily the most expensive place, but more desirable, for a lot of reasons, but mostly proximity to town, you know, and then that it's, you know, there's only so much you can build there, and for a long time, criminality was pretty light, you know, I mean, you had the occasional stuff that would happen, but now, you know, and it's a shame. It's like literally you let Hawaiians in a neighborhood and the neighborhood goes downhill because their association with criminality and their unwillingness to actually hold their own people accountable for jack shit. And I'm guessing the Native Americans are the same way. See, they're so paranoid about being persecuted by the white man that they don't want to persecute each other. But then in doing that, criminality just grows and festers in their own communities. It's not a good choice. Affiliating yourself due to race, ethnicity, nationality, all those things is always going to be a mistake. And people just can't seem to learn that, you know, because there is power in being a part of a group. And so it is the natural anthropological drive of human beings to group up. And so that they have more power and control and more access to resources. The problem is that then within those groups, like the Native Hawaiians and the Native Americans are really good examples of how that goes wrong. Because here they are trying to, you know, keep out the white man and do all that other shit, and they're focusing on that. And within their own community, they've got drug traffickers, sex traffickers. I know that Native Americans have a really big problem with the fact that their own children and women have been taken. and that's happening in Canada, just taken. And that's with the help of people within their own community. So they're not being protected by their own people. They're being sold out for money. So it's just the way it is. And these are the truths that they don't like me talking about, because this is the total dismantling. And maybe even the U.S. government doesn't like it. Maybe the U.S. government likes people to bind together in groups because then it's easier to control them. And it's easier to predict. And there's too many bad people in the government. I mean, the U.S. government has done some pretty shady shit, you know, so my belief that they would be interested in catching these people was probably very misplaced. You know, maybe the U.S. government is going to be super keen on learning about the use of anesthesia as a chemical weapon. And that's literally what I'm saying is anesthesia is a chemical weapon now that is being used by drug cartels in the United States against U.S. citizens. That's already happening because it's happening to me. So, and it's a really great chemical to use. You can't test for it. It doesn't stay in the system to test for it, but yet it destroys you and kills you. It can incapacitate you within minutes. It's pretty fucking unreal, you know? So, and pretty fucking scary. And the fact that I'm being labeled nuts and no one's listening to me, whew, it's going to be one of these moments in time where probably nobody will really, because no one's listening to me, so no one's going to have this moment of being like, holy shit, this girl was saying this. And now it's a problem. But I mean, it's a drug that you don't need probably. I mean, you can get it at any vet. You can get it through any doctor. I mean, and there's just there's so much corruption. I mean, the person that put down Kitty was in their pocket. So, there's that. There you go. Welcome to the future. Welcome to the future. There's rapists sitting outside in the bushes. There's a crazy woman in my attic. There's a woman right over there that's waiting. They're all waiting for me to go unconscious. They're killing my animals in order to be able to rape me for the millionth time. And I'm nobody. Welcome to the future.